All right, so today we're going to break down a really powerful talk by the chef and TV personality Andrew Zimmern. And it's not really about food. It's about something we all struggle with, this obsession with getting things perfect, and why actually the most powerful thing we can do is just be present.
Zimmern kicks things off with this classic quote from Winston Churchill. And it's such a great starting point, right? It reminds us that the real key to success isn't about never messing up. It's about being resilient enough to keep going when you do.
But what if that's not enough? What happens when our mindset shifts and perfection becomes the only goal we're willing to accept? Well, that's the core problem we're going to explore, this way of thinking that can completely sabotage our work, our relationships, and even our own happiness.
Zimmer actually has a name for this. He calls it the perfection paradox, and it's a concept he saw play out over and over again in the super high-stakes world of the hospitality industry.
Think about it. If you're in that industry, your whole job is about creating a perfect, flawless experience for your guests. But here's the paradox. The path to creating that experience is never perfect. He argues that in the real world, perfect solutions just don't exist. So chasing some flawless step-by-step plan is basically just setting yourself up for failure. Now for Zimmern, this isn't just some business philosophy or a clever catchphrase. No, for him, this is a survival tool. It's a lesson that he learned from a very real, very personal fight for his own life.
And I'm not exaggerating. For him, being present is literally a matter of life and death. As a recovering addict, he knows that the moment he loses his grip on the present, the moment he starts spiraling, well, that's the path that leads straight back to self-destruction.
And just to give you some perspective on his journey, we're talking about 16 years of active addiction. The last 3 years of that, he completely disappeared from his own life. His final year, he was homeless, living in an abandoned building. So when he talks about being sober for over 2 decades, you know that perspective is hard-won.
This is how he describes his mindset back then. He was trapped in this constant, selfish loop of me, 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 totally disconnected from everyone and everything around him. And that's the very mindset he has to fight against every single day. So let's talk about the real antagonist in this story. Zimmern doesn't see perfectionism as some kind of noble ambition. He sees it for what it is, a genuine illness.
So what is it exactly? He defines it as this incredibly rigid belief that there's only one single, perfect way to do something, and then anything less than that is a total failure. He calls it a human ill and says he's suspicious of any word that ends in ism.
And you can see the two mindsets laid out here. Perfectionism just magnifies anxiety. It demands one single outcome and almost always leads to disappointment. But being present, well, that allows for flexibility. It opens you up to a whole range of good outcomes and actually lets you feel satisfied and grow.
Zimmern has a very blunt way of putting it. He says if you're constantly worried about a perfect future while also being stuck in the plans you made in the past, you're completely missing out on the present. You're not actually living. You're just kind of anxiously stuck in time.
Okay, so if perfectionism is the villain, what's the solution? What's the alternative? Zimmern's answer is pretty cool. He calls it embracing the happy accident.
He uses this great analogy of going shopping for an outfit. Imagine you walk into a store with this ridiculously specific list. It has to be this exact color, this pattern, this designer, this fabric, and of course, under $100. I mean, how stressful and totally impossible does that sound? You're setting yourself up to fail.
But what if you changed your whole approach? What if your only criteria were that the outfit has to make you stand out and it has to fit you well? All of a sudden, you've got hundreds of ways to succeed. Being flexible literally creates more opportunities to win. And this might be the most delicious example of a happy accident ever. You know the molten lava cake, right? Who doesn't love it? Well, it was a mistake. A chef was trying to make a perfect chocolate torte, pulled it out of the oven too early, and boom, a new, amazing dessert was born. Sometimes the accident is way better than the original plan.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? To let go of that perfect plan, you have to take a leap of faith. You have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone and just trust that a good outcome is still possible, even if it looks nothing like what you first imagined.
Okay, now we're getting to what I think is the most powerful part of his entire talk. It's a story that Zimmern actually heard from the Dalai Lama, and it ties this whole idea together beautifully.
So picture this. A man is just having a serene moment, admiring a beautiful flower. Suddenly a dog leaps out and bites him. That serenity instantly turns to shock and then to pure rage. He's about to kill the dog, but then he looks closer, and he sees the dog's leg is caught in a steel bear trap.
And in that single instant, his entire perspective flips. His rage just evaporates, and it's replaced by compassion. He's no longer thinking about his own pain from the bite. All he can see is the dog's suffering. He becomes present to the reality of the dog's situation.
The lesson from the Dalai Lama is as simple as it is profound. Everybody is in a bear trap. To really truly connect with another person, we have to stop focusing on ourselves, on our own pain, and try to understand the struggle that they're going through.
And this is where it all clicks into place. For Andrew Zimmern, that relentless, nagging belief that perfect solutions exist, that is his bear trap. It's the mindset that traps him in anxiety and self-obsession, and it's what keeps him from being truly present, both for himself and for the people around him.
So this leaves us with one final, powerful question. Being present is really an act of empathy. It's about making a conscious choice to look past our own stuff, our own pain, and see the struggles of others. So whose bear trap will you choose to see today? And more importantly, what are you going to do to help?